Okay, you're good to go.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Donna, for the live stream. Welcome everybody to our Gdac meeting of Wednesday, March 24th. Just going to start out again just with a couple quick items. The meeting is now called to order. Any disclosures of pecuniary interests of any members here? I don't see anybody showing anything. So thank you very much. At this time, I'd just like to welcome our new staff member, Donna Del Vecchio. Is going to be our representative with from the staff from the town, sorry, for Gdac. And welcome, Donna. Great to have you aboard. Also, I'd like to welcome the DIA representative, Mr. Mike Williscraft. He's joined us again on as a Liaison member to Gdac. So welcome, Mike. And again, I'd like to also welcome Mayor Jeff Jordan and Councillor John Dunstall. So again, now we'll start the meeting with the approval of the agenda. So can I just get we'll have a motion for that. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the approval of the agenda, please? I've got Susan. Just give me a second here to check this off. Susan and Allie. Okay. Sorry about that. There we are. All in favor of the with the committee? That's carried. Thank you very much. We'll move the item number 4. We don't have any delegations at this time. Item number 5, reports. There's nothing to report at this time. Resolutions. We don't have any resolutions at this time, but we do have a lot of business under correspondence, which is great. So the first item of correspondence is the, if you all read through the agenda, was the minutes from the Regional Emergency Rapid Task Force. We received minutes for those meetings of January 13th, 27th, February 10th, and February 24th. Is there any discussion to that at all? Or I know oh, sorry, you know what? I apologize. I want to start over just for one thing. I just want to make a point of why Adam June is not in attendance at our meeting. For personal health reasons, he's not able to attend today, but he definitely wanted us and have to continue the meeting and have the meeting move forward with all the good things that are in the works on our agenda. So having and keeping the momentum going with the meeting. So wish Adam good health. So anyways, I apologize. I should have read that first. Anyways, so I just want to continue now with the correspondence from the Rapid Response Task Force. Adam attended many of the meetings, as was in the minutes. Also, Rebecca was at a lot of the meetings. So I'm going to ask Rebecca if at this time, if you have any comments on how things went through the meetings or anything you'd like to add other than that was in the minutes of the meeting, Rebecca. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Cadwell. Nothing to add. The minutes are very comprehensive. I think more just a note about how efficient and effective those meetings are run. It is an excellent touch point with both the region, ECDEV, and Niagara Public Health, and they have been exceptionally open to answering any and all questions that we might have as stakeholder business organizations. So they've been excellent meetings, excellent updates, and a lot of the information coming forward from those gets passed on to our membership base as well. So nothing to add that's material to the minutes.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate those comments. Just so does the task force, it looks like they're meeting approximately twice a month. Is that still the intentions, Rebecca? Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions from committee members or comments on the correspondence there? All righty. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Richard?
Rebecca, I was looking in the minutes. Did they say anything about I know the small business digitization or digital Main Street program? I know in Hamilton that it's been extended for another month or two. Do you know the status of Niagara? It's run out of Innovate Niagara. Did they mention?
I don't recall them mentioning that at the last meeting, but again, it was last week, the week before. I apologize. There's a lot of meetings these days. So I don't remember them saying anything. I thought that it had also been extended and the catchment area also extended as well to include not just downtown businesses. I know there was talk of that. I don't know the exact status. Adam would have that answer, but I apologize. I don't have that information off the top of my head.
Okay, I know Nora at Innovate Niagara. I'll just send her an email. Thanks.
All righty. Thank you for the comments there. Moving forward, we'll go to the Niagara Region Economic Development Recovery Plan Update number 3 from February of 2021. Are there any questions or comments? Sorry, Mike, I see your hands up there. Go ahead, Mike.
Richard, I don't think the grants have been extended. I think the squad has been extended, just so you're aware. The grants were done as of February 28th. The squads have been extended in most of the regions, at least until March or April for now. Just back to your point.
Yep. Sorry, my point was on that. I know I'm not sure what you mean by squad. You're talking about the Digital Main Street again?
Yeah, so the squad is typically the people who go out and help in the businesses. That part has been extended.
I know that person was, but the whole filing and the process and everything was all set to May 31st because I'm on that, and I know that. So all the execution that I think was supposed to be done at the end of March, if I remember right, everything was extended 2 months. And Richard, for the last, we weren't talking specifically, Adam and I, about that. But he did, one of his emails did reference open to the entire community. So I believe that has happened with the May 31st extension. And we also changed over, I'm not sure whether Adam would have mentioned that at a earlier meeting. I'm not sure when your last meeting was, but we just after Christmas, second week of January, Liam, the fellow that was doing our, I don't know, I was going to say liaising, but that's not the right term, but there's a new person. She was also over in Welland who just started a couple of weeks ago, and the person has changed over. I'm just taking a quick look on my laptop here because her name is escaping me. But anyway, that's I won't take up too much time. But yes, I believe everything has been extended to May 31st.
So if I may, those comments are based on the Emergency Rapid Response Task Force that we just had overviewed briefly, just for everybody's information. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you again. Now we'll move on to the correspondence part of the Niagara Regional Economic Development Recovery Plan update. Again, I'm just trying to move forward with this on information purposes. So we've all read through. Does anybody have any questions or comments on to it? I don't see any. Okay. Just one thing that I kind of highlighted, and I always look at financial considerations, and under the paragraph of that, it just says everything is the operation budget of the Economic Development Division or through applications to granting programs will be made available by the province and federal government. So that's good to hear too, that the other two tiers of government are heavily involved in supporting economic development. So anyways, all righty, that's it. No more comments or anything? Okay, thank you. Let's see, the next one is the ERRT Q&A with Dr. Hergy, which was on March the 10th of 2021. So again, committee, any questions or comments? I found it a very, very interesting report with the questions that were asked. So with regards to the updates of vaccinations and where we are through this pandemic. So anybody want to comment on anything there? Oh. Okay, check that one off. And our last correspondence is the town hall. Sorry, let me get it up here. I've read through it already. It's an awareness to a very good event that's going to be happening on Wednesday, April 7th at 12:30. The virtual town hall meeting with connecting with the regional councilors, Albert Witteveen, Rob Foster, Wayne Furtick, and I really I hope everybody has a chance to connect to that at 12:30 on April 7th. And it's great to see that they're involving the economic development staff from Lincoln, West Lincoln, Grimsby, and in the region of Niagara. So that should be a very, very good event to watch in that and get some good information. So anybody else want to say? I hope everybody's able to join in and participate, or not participate, but be able to watch that. So, okay, so that's our correspondence. Now we'll get into economic development strategy working groups update presentation. So just for everybody's information, we've had 2 working groups within Gdac working on a couple of our priorities. So I'm going to start with Susan first, ladies first. So Susan, if you could give an update on what your group's been a follow-up to what your group's been doing. Thank you. Well,
Councillor Cadwell,
yes.
do you have a mover and a seconder to receive the correspondence?
Well, thank you, Donna. We can do that. Could I get a mover and a seconder to receive the correspondence? Anybody? Richard and Susan, okay. All in favor of the resolution? And that is carried. Thank you. Thank you very much, Donna. Go ahead, Susan.
We have the first presentation is by Richard Dunda.
Okay.
I'll just share
All
my
right.
screen.
That's good. Sorry. Richard, go ahead.
And Richard, if you can just let me know when to advance the slides, please.
Okay, thanks
Thank you.
everyone. So as Dave mentioned, there have been 2 working groups in process, one focused on BR&E, which you'll hear about shortly, and this one, Economic Development Strategy Working Group. Please advance, Donna. Go ahead. Donna.
I'm just trying to advance here.
I can drive if you want. Okay, anyway.
There you go.
So this is just a visual of the structure of the working group, right? Split into 2, report into Gdac, who then carries an integrated presentation to council. There is some cross communication between teams at this point, mostly through Adam, because we're still kind of at the beginning of each process. Any questions on this? Go ahead, Donna. On our working group, there's myself, Ali, Michael, and Adam as the staff resource established in November. And the task or the focus of the group is the development and implementation of an comprehensive economic development strategy for Grimsby. Please advance. So the focus or the goal of the group is leadership and oversight in the development and activation of an ECDEV plan. Not write the plan, leadership and oversight in the development of the plan. Research and analyze best practices where there has been some work done and we're looking at templates or other plans from similar sized communities across Canada. And then implement a working plan for the development of the strategy. So this is a little bit of a difference from the 2012 plan, to my understanding, where there was a plan written, but never an activation plan on how to make sure that the plan comes to life. I know one point that we talked about substantially in the team was the need for a fulsome, broad and robust, fulsome stakeholder engagement across the community, across parties interested in coming to Grimsby, so that there's enough inputs into the plan as it's developed. That would also include the output of the BR&E committee. Right? And if you recall, there's an MRED grant for a BR&E study going in Grimsby. Okay, Donald? Or sorry, questions about that? Okay, go ahead, Donald. So deliverables of the plan are a work plan and a timeline to getting the overall plan written. What the stakeholder engagement plan is, the governance model. So this really just speaks to how, as the plan develops, how we'll inform Gdac and how that information, how Gdac informs council. So whether there's an interim milestone report or something along that lines, a detailed budget that goes along with for the creation of the plan. If it's deemed that a third-party consultant is desirable to create the plan, then the RFP process. The document itself is the output, and then, as I mentioned, the implementation plan, not just the strategy document, but how to implement elements of the strategy. We talked a lot about the time frame of the plan. Is this a 20-year document? Is it a 5-year document? And Rebecca might correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the team settled on a 3 to 5 year implementation window. All right, so something that was achievable in the nearer term. Questions? Key considerations are, of course, budget. How much money does it cost to develop a plan? How much of that is already committed? Where's the dollars going to come from? Whether or not we use a third-party consultant or we use a grassroots approach, given there's an EDO on staff now. What the sectoral focus is, right? Taking an inventory of what's in Grimsby, what's possible in Grimsby. Again, some of that would include the output of the BR&E plan. The goals and the intended outcomes, or key performance indicators, how we would measure the impact of the plan, and that it's action-oriented. And that's 3 times now I've mentioned that this comes with an implementation plan, right, on how to activate against the strategies that are recommended in the document once we get to that point. Questions? Key success factors, pragmatic and achievable. Let's not put something on paper that is, requires $100 million investment to revamp some strategy portion, some large portion of Grimsby in order to achieve economic outcomes. Don't reinvent the wheel refers to the fact that there are models and successful implementations of similar plans in other towns, right, across the country. So let's try to leverage what has worked before. From people in similar demographic and size frameworks. The scorecard and the KPIs, how we're going to measure on an ongoing basis, as well as how that gets reported, right, back to the citizens of Grimsby. Writing a plan without Gdac and council support would be foolish, so that kind of goes without saying. Make sure there's broad, large, involved stakeholder engagement. We're on budget, and again, that there's an implementation plan. Next steps, so solicit input and feedback from Gdac on this structure and framework. Situation analysis, where are we now? How will come to a decision on whether or not we're looking for a third party to drive the development of the plan, or we're going to do that in-house, right? Both from Gdac and the stakeholder group. Confirm if there's a budget. Do the 12-month work plan, and I think we picked 12 years so that this thing isn't going to take 18 months. It would be a year or less of effort in order to have a plan on the table. And then I spoke earlier about the governance process, and that if there are key milestones, right, as the plan is written, then what's the process for getting that information through Gdac back up to council? Right, so there's awareness and communication is active. It's not just a document dropped on the desk 12 months in the future. Questions, comments? Silence.
No. Richard, are you able to use best practices and plans from other communities that would be similar to Grimsby?
Yeah, we've already done some work in researching other plans that, so you don't know if the pillars of the strategy are the same because everybody's economic and community footprint is different, but the structure and the approach for the plan, right, we've looked already into some plans that have worked. There's lots of focus on the working group on making sure the document's usable, right? It's not just a plan that's kind of off on the shelf.
Right.
Through you, Chair, can I ask a question, Richard? Harry here.
Yes,
Sure.
right
Harry,
here.
any lessons learned what not to do? For example, what we did in 2012, or I know the region rolled out a 10-year plan. You know, is there any lessons learned from that maybe we go 5? You know, I'm sure you're looking at that.
I think, Harry, make it near term, 3 to 5 years, so that it's executable in that time frame. It doesn't mean you don't take long-term considerations you don't take long-term trends or mega trends into consideration, but you can only deal with the near term. So that would be one. The creation of the implementation plan was probably a big miss from the 2012 document, where it didn't have a way to integrate it into the operating departments. So that's pretty key. And we looked at certain templates where that operating groups, which is why the milestone process becomes important, right? Like if you're trying to get the operating groups engaged as you move along through the process, one, you'll gain input as the plan develops. And two, you'll end up with a document that's more implementable by the time it's delivered.
Thank you.
We need buy-in from the operating divisions of the town.
Great points, Richard. Thanks.
Any other comments for Richard? See none. Richard, I want to thank the group team for the work they've put into that. It definitely points us to a better future, because I believe that to move forward, you have to know where you currently are and with your resources, and to try to develop a plan, you have to understand and know exactly where you are now. So anyways,
David, in Adam's, I just want to thank Adam, the amount of work that he did to help the working group stay on track, and Sarah Kim did some work in that regard as well, just to, he's not here. So Gary, if you can accept on his behalf and pass along, if you're talking to him, his effort and work were, substantial in making sure that we got organized and got moving.
yeah, thank you, Richard, and I will pass that on to Adam. And yeah, thank you very much. So I'll let Donna, if you don't mind moving forward with the next presentation. You want to take the lead?
No problem. Just one moment. Let me load it up.
Okay.
While I'm doing this, Mayor Jordan is an ex officio member, so he can turn his camera on and unmute if he wishes to participate.
That's great. Thank you, Donna.
No problem.
I'm pleased to provide, on behalf of the Gdac Business Retention and Expansion Working Group, a high-level overview of our BR&E project to date. There will be time at the end of the presentation for Q&A, including an opportunity to forward additional questions to our Economic Development Officer over the next week. Next. This slide provides clarity around where our working group fits into the town structure. The BRNE working group supports Gdac, which in turn supports and advises council. Next. The Business Retention and Expansion Working Group members are Councillor Kevin Ritchie, myself, Susan Manuel as Gdac member, Rebecca Shelley, the Executive Director, Grimsby Chamber of Commerce, Adam June, our Economic Development Officer, and Rachel Bow-Condren as a staff resource. The working group was established at Gdac's November 18, 2020 meeting. The purpose of the working group is the development and implementation of a comprehensive BRNE program, utilizing the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs program methodology, funded in part by the province with in-kind support from the Grimsby and District Chamber of Commerce. Next. The BRNE program goals are to support local businesses so that they can grow, create jobs, and stay in Grimsby. Develop and activate an action plan to encourage business development and opportunities and investment in job creation. Collect critical business and market data to support and inform the economic development planning efforts of the town into the future. There will be significant in-depth engagement with industrial and commercial business operators in order to understand the challenges and issues they face in their day-to-day business operations, with a goal to cultivate meaningful relationships between the town and local business stakeholders so that the town, its EDO, and its Gdac committee can better develop strategies and initiatives to foster an environment within the town conducive to business sustainability, growth, and prosperity. Next. We are working closely with a MAFRA's proven methodology for program development and project management through stages 1 to 4, preparation, collect and analyze, develop goals and action plans, and implement and monitor, and proven survey tools specific to the industry, including additional Grimsby questions, and providing trackability, allowing an annualized program, and supported by best practices and training. Next. The following outlines Grimsby's survey sample plan currently in development. The areas of key focus are sector, with industrial manufacturing, retail service, including restaurants, and commercial, broken down by employment size, and geography, West End, East End, commercial core areas. And current survey totals for industrial manufacturing is 25, which is pretty well all of them. Retail service is 60 and commercial is 30 for a total of 115 surveys. Survey methodology will be through Zoom, in person if possible, probably Zoom, and or telephone and online, with 70 of those interviews being direct contact with the businesses and 45 online. Next. Survey focus areas are business climate, what's it like to do business in Grimsby, future plans, expansion, contraction, new markets, diversification, business development, industry sector outlook, sales and projections, workforce, availability, skills readiness, recruitment, community development, local strengths and weaknesses, and Grimsby's additional questions. Next. The following outlines our high-level project work plan and timeline. As you can see, we're about to launch into our marketing and promotion in April, along with training for both surveying and data management. In May, we move into our online and Zoom surveys, with August survey completion, and July, August starting our survey analysis. In August and September, final report prep and completion. And in September, sharing our results and findings with the ECDEV Strat Working Group. In October, the intention is to activate our action plans, and December is our opportunity to look at our 2022 BRNE initiative to start all over again. Next. Key success factors. Awareness and call to action promotions through social media, newspaper ads, direct mailing and direct outreach, postcards and printed materials. To be successful, we will need to engage the interest and participation of local businesses. Marketing will be a critical success factor in reaching survey goals. Outreach and support from local stakeholder groups, amplifying awareness, operational participation and engagement, business owner participation, opportunities for incentives, and to provide value-added information. And commitment to annualize BRNE programming, undertaking annual program to allow for tracking year over year. Next steps, solicit input and feedback from Gdac today, and with opportunities, provide additional comments or questions through the EDO. Development and launch of marketing and promotional vehicles, training for interviewers and project administrators, finalization of survey tools, and our survey launch. Next. And now I'd like to open it up for questions. Thank you. Dave, we can't hear you.
Thanks very much, Susan, for your presentation and the good work that your group has been doing moving forward. So again, any comments or as Susan was asking for questions, anything from committee?
No questions.
Chair, could I have one? Yeah, is there any, Suzanne, is there any reporting we need to do to the province in the short term on our progress, or is?
Are you reporting back to OMAFRA?
Yes.
Yes, OMAFRA's program is very, very specific. So we have specific dates that we have to report back to, but it's not frequent. Kim, who's our representative from OMAFRA, is very available and accessible. So when we hit key points, we do reference back to her and are also able to have her attend our meetings to provide guidance. Yeah, but we, as part of the plan, we have a very detailed project plan. Didn't want to overwhelm everyone with that, but it actually has the specific dates, whether it's budget-wise or where we are in the life cycle of the project, that we need to report back. So some of the dates that you're seeing on the high-level one are also dates we've committed back to them when we'll be complete. So December 31st, we should be complete the entire process. September 6th, we're supposed to be complete with our to be able to move forward with an action plan proposal.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. Ali?
That's great. Apologies if I missed this information, but the interviews that will be had, who will be participating in
Who will be facilitating them?
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, Adam and I will be doing the interviews. There's potential to add additional individuals, but at this point, we're trying to keep it really tight. So that is what's on the table right now as a proposal. OMAFRA actually provides all of the training and the survey tools. So we'll be setting up for April to have the training done for the interviewing. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, if there's no more questions, Chair, I'd just like to also say that Adam has been an amazing resource and really helped the initiative move forward and has always been there for us to support any questions or ideas. And so I really appreciate his leadership in this project. And I think the team would agree.
Great, yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, Susan. And I will personally call Adam. I'm not going to do it by email. I will personally call Adam and pass on the great compliments, well deserving, and from the committees too. So thank you. Yeah. Again, just sorry, Susan. I'm just going to throw a comment in. When I was looking through your presentation, is there anything that we can do, or if I missed it, I apologize. Looking at, and I've brought this up in the past, the lands that available, developable business commercial lands that we do have that are in Grimsby. Sorry, not that we own, but yeah, the availability of lands. I think that's an important aspect to a study, and also it's good information for members of Gdac to be aware of too, as we're hopefully as we're working to be the sales representatives under economic development for the town of Grimsby. So was there anything brought forward through that at all? Thank you.
Well, thank you. Not as part of this initiative on the survey side, but as part of the survey, not having the ability to expand and land being an issue will be one of the results that we'll hear back from businesses. I think that we've, as a Gdac committee, along with Adam, have talked about the need as a priority to understand what lands are available in Grimsby and what the opportunity is there. As part of the survey, we'll hopefully find out which businesses actually are being held back by land availability.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yep, that's great. Thank you. And there's more questions, I see, so I'll let you can continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ally?
I was going to just comment on Dave's question. I think the land availability might fit more in the environmental scan of the economic development strategy. So I think that will be part of that process.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll find out where the need is and hopefully the strategy team will find out where the opportunities are. Is that fair? Yeah. Good. Team effort.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. I don't see any other questions either, Susan. So thank you very much. Again, both groups, your work is well done and I appreciate it. I know all members of Gdac and I'm sure council will appreciate the good work of the templates. Actually, that's what we're doing. We're setting up templates and moving forward for the town. So could I get, Donna, I think we need a resolution for this too, to say for the accepting the reports.
That's correct.
Yeah, thank you, Donna. Could I get a mover and a seconder on that, please, to accept the working group reports? Ally and Susan, thank you. All in favor of the resolution by committee members? Great, thank you. That's carried. All righty. The next item under committee business is the Gdac update draft terms of reference brackets governance and administrative updates. So I briefly spoke to Adam yesterday, and what we're looking to do and what Adam is hoping to do is that if members of Gdac can review again the draft, which is only a draft right now, and Adam would really appreciate any input that the committee members could bring forward to him in a very, if you can get to him back, if you can read it and respond in a short time frame, that he'd really appreciate that. All right. Thank you.
Chair, could
Yep.
copy Rachel on that just so we can get that data and help Adam put that together?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Harry.
Chair, there's a motion to receive for the reference for Gdac, updated terms of reference, just to receive it.
Okay. Can I get a mover and a seconder as for a resolution to receive? Susan, Richard, okay.
David, I just have a question on that, on the term. And I don't know if this is even the right spot for that, but one thing I was going to ask about was if there was any interest, when I was first on Gdac, when it was first founded, we had an ambassador program. You'd probably remember that. John Hall was on that group, Dennis Paris from Handling Specialty. And they were sort of utilized as a higher level advice group, but they were also armed with a marketing package that Gdac as a group created. Marty McPhail, if you remember him, he was a marketing vice president with BMO. And he was he headed the committee that at that time it was a DVD and printed material all in a folder that were given out to these ambassadors. So, you know, if John Hall's in the southern US or Dennis Paris is over in China or whatever, it was a leave behind marketing tool they agreed to give out. Bob McNeil was another one on that group. And so I didn't know if there was an interest in developing a ambassador type program. They also come in and they were speakers at different meetings on different topics. And so I didn't know whether that would need to be in the terms of reference. They wouldn't be direct members. It just created some profile, and it was a very nice connection to some real movers and shakers of the business community. I just was wondering if there'd be any interest in taking a look at that in today's environment.
Yeah, I do recollect that, Mike. That was back in my first term around 2007. I think that was probably that was part of our first mayor's breakfast that we set up. Dennis,
I think it was
gentleman from Hanley Specialty, gentleman from John Deere, and also John Halls from the 40 Creek, the 40 Distillery. Yeah, that was that. I do remember that. Having it in part of our terms of reference, I'm going to speak to Adam about that. I don't see personally, I don't see the use of it, but if it can be worked in, but I do remember what you're discussing, Mike, and that was part of the mayor's breakfast education forum from our back in the early first term of council. So yeah, all right. Susan, do you have a comment?
Yeah, just on that vein, Chair, this might be part of something that the strategy team would look at. And I know that on the BRNE side, we're looking at who are key stakeholders that can be involved ongoing to help us move forward with initiatives. So I think it may be something that we look at from both groups, working groups going forward.
Something like that development, if somebody agreed to be part of a mentor program, if somebody had questions about other than say Adam or someone internally at the town, wouldn't mind going for lunch with somebody to talk about physical expansion and those types of projects.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I think that's something we can look at the committee how we can address that. Richard?
I think for the stakeholder engagement plan and the economic strategy thing, that's although we didn't talk about it in the context of an ambassador program, there was certainly a conversation about a ongoing stakeholder engagement group. What Mike's proposing is probably a little more formal and ongoing, which is probably a really good idea.
Yeah.
And I know that I can't remember, Ali and Mike, if we talked about this at the table or not, but it's not only just people within Grimsby and the business community, it's others. How do you capture people's input that are interested in coming to Grimsby, even though they don't live and work here or have their business here already? And how do you getting that input as part of the dev plan is one thing, getting the input on a permanent basis is another. So good idea, Mike. Thank you. And we'll bring it back to the table at the ECDEV team.
Councilor Ritchie.
Thank you through the chair. Yes, I just wanted to reiterate that I think it's a good idea, but to put it in the terms of reference, that might at this time, I think that you should forward it to Adam and see what it said. But when you're talking about ambassadors or you're talking about mentorship, if it's in the terms of reference, that's something that we'd have to make sure is always there. And we may not have that capability because it will be dependent upon whether people from outside want to support that. So that might just be something to look at, to move forward and discuss if there's a way to word it properly that, because we can't guarantee that it'll be maintained. So I think that it's something that we should look at, identify it, and talk to Adam about and have future discussions.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily suggesting it be part of the terms. That's why I wasn't sure whether that was the right time to bring it up. It would be more, it wouldn't necessarily need to be as formal as that part of the process to still be something that's a dedicated interest of the committee. And it would afford more sort of a relaxed approach to it if it wasn't in the terms of reference. It's just sort of a model that the committee wanted to adopt.
Yeah, I'll just, as I mentioned earlier when I first commented, I can have this discussion with Adam, obviously when we're finalizing our terms of reference, and also the discussion will continue within the committee too. So yeah, we'll leave it at that then. Thanks for the idea there, Mike. Let's see, where's my notes here? Sorry, Donna, was there anything else? You mentioned something, anything else from a procedure? Are we online? Forward?
Did you take the vote on the last motion to receive the updated draft terms of reference for GDAC?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. I was
thank you.
done, and then Mike chimed in with his ideas. So yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, Donna. The next thing is the item number 4 is the staff updates. Unfortunately, I can't, I'm not able to comment on that. Whether maybe if Donna or if Harry wants to comment, I'd accept those comments for the committee. But again, that's information that I received an email this morning, or sorry, yesterday morning from Adam, and he is planning to give updates to the committee in the very near future from the minutes of our meeting and also his updates too. So unless there's any other comments from staff members, we'll move forward to the next item. Donna or Harry, anything to add to it?
Adam,
Yeah, go ahead,
Adam
Donna.
did say that he was going to follow up with a written email in the next few days with his updates, and then it'll form part of the minutes as an attachment.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Donna. Let's see, GDAC member updates. Okay, this is kind of, anybody have anything you want to bring forward from GDAC members? Okay. Okay, sorry, Susan?
Okay. Just to share with the GDAC group, for transparency, I joined the Grimsby Chamber of Commerce as part of their board of directors recently, and just wanted to make you aware of that. I'm very excited to be part of Rebecca's team with the chamber. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you, Susan. I'm hearing some background noise somewhere. Thank you, Susan, for bringing that forward to the membership of GDAC. Yeah. What we've added too in our agenda is if the members, the Liaison members of the DIA or the chamber would like to make any comments or any updates. So I'll start with Rebecca. I apologize. Rebecca, any updates from the chamber?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Chair Cadwell, for the opportunity. Quick updates from the chamber. As Susan mentioned, we have recently held our AGM and installed our new board of directors. I'm very pleased to have Susan on our team. Our new chair of the board is Sean Reed of Arrowhead Coaching and Facilitation. We're very excited to see the direction that the chamber takes under his leadership. We are undergoing a fulsome strategic plan review at the board level as well. We have, as most people would expect, moved all of our events to the virtual environment. And that includes all of the buckets, the networking activities, connecting businesses to resources, and the advocacy piece. For example, the April 7 virtual town hall with the regional councillors. We're pleased to be able to facilitate that. And we're continuing really just very similar to many other organizations, very heavy outreach to the business community to gauge their challenges and their needs at this time.
Great. Thank you very much for those updates. Maybe it's up to you, Rebecca, but I think you've got a big event coming up this summer. Hopefully it will happen, your golf tournament date, if you want to pass that on.
We do. We have our golf tournament will be happening on June the 8th. I hope everyone can make it. And we are extremely pleased. This will be the first time we've made it official, but we are extremely pleased to be supporting GAMRU with a portion of the golf tournament proceeds going to support that amazing organization. So we're really pleased to be able to partner with them.
Great. Thanks for that update, Rebecca. Mr. Woescraft from the DIA, any updates or any information you want to pass on?
Thank you. The main thing on our horizon is the installation of the Jersey barriers on Main Street to allow for the Main Street patios. I don't know if you might know yet, possibly Harry might, the installation date, if it's been set. I know it's supposed to be between the window of April 15 and May 3rd. But usually, like last year, they eventually landed on a specific date and said this one will show up. So I don't know if that date has been set, but that's the window of installation. With these nice days that we've had, I've had a couple remarks about, can we get it done sooner? But as soon as you do that, we're going to get a snow. So, you take your chances. But no, it's supposed to, those are supposed to go in after April 15th. And we've been talking about planning. It's really hard to plan, traffic creators, and I even hesitate to use the word events because, with the crowd gathering limitations, things like that, trying to help the businesses by getting foot traffic to the door is tricky to do in a manageable way. But we did a couple of things last year that worked well. When we did the gift certificate program with anybody purchasing goes in a free draw, that was very popular. Went over a 6-week period. We're looking at doing something like that in the spring when there's less limitation and maybe another step or two on the colorful provincial COVID scale. So that's the main thing for spring, is trying to hit the ground running and be ready with something to get some traffic, some foot traffic, get people out and about downtown in a safe way, of course. And the patio is open, which also helps the restaurants for sure. They've been particularly hard hit by all this. Those are the two main things, Mr. Chair.
Great. I just wondered, maybe Harry, could you, is there an update of a time frame with regards to the barriers set up on Main Street? Any information you can pass on there?
All hands on deck to try and get them up April 15th. But again, we got to watch the weather patterns, but definitely trying to get set up for that 15th.
Great. Great.
If you do get a date, if you could let me know, Harry, because I'll let those guys know. So they need to plan shifts and all those kinds of things.
Okay, will do.
Thanks.
Just a curious question. Is it the same barriers that we had last year?
Yeah, as I understand, it's the same cement style. There was some requests. I've spoken with Brandon Wortman, the director of Public Works, about trying to, because it looks like this has some potential to be a longer term or style plan, doing something, I'll use the term more decorative. Of course, it needs to be safe. Of course, it needs to follow regional guidelines and such. But, last year, everything happened so fast last year. I don't even want to use the term fault. It's nobody's fault. But, I sent him several images from, say, Burlington, the Danforth, St. Denis Street, Montreal, where it's everything from, sort of a roped off pedestal style, very relaxed setup, to in Montreal, where they use an elevated deck that's installed on the parking spaces to differentiate certainly the roadway from a parking area from the patios, things like that. Just something less stark as the cement. Now that said, we got a lot, the flower boxes we did, and they're already ordered for this year. The flower boxes we did last year really made it look as good as it possibly could in that setup. That's one thing too, Harry, because the stretch of barriers is going to be a bit shorter. Instead of going all the way west to the Nook gift shop on the west side of Giant Tiger, the barriers are going to be ending just near Toujours, just at Toujours before Giant Tiger, which will allow, I think, 4 or 5 parking spaces on the west end on the north side, because there's no patio down that way. There was no need to continue the whole stretch. So, but I need to know how many barriers it will take to go from Toujours to East End by the 40. So then I know how many flower boxes to order. If there's a way you could have Brandon do that calculation, because I don't know. Anyway, he would know from last year how many fewer barriers you'll need, and then I can order the flowers.
Yeah, I'm with him today at 1. So
great, thank you. Was that along what you were thinking, Ali, with asking about what the format's going to be this year?
Simply, I didn't think that they were very attractive last year, so I was hoping that
Yeah,
something
that's
different was
not
thought
an
of for this year.
uncommon sentiment.
Yeah.
Last year, it was all, like Harry said, this year, it was all hands on deck, figure out a way to get this done. This is what the region was requiring, giddy up. And it was that. Nobody was debating that issue. Now, with the pending regional work with the sewer and water lines coming in a couple of years, I don't know that I don't think it would be economically prudent to make any type of investment in anything physical in terms of changes. And then maybe depending what happens with the streetscape and a redesign, if that happens, then that stuff could all be obsolete in just a couple of years. So that's where sort of we're into a bit of maybe a medium range planning for how to format that situation is merited.
Okay, all right. Thank you. And I'm just going to make a comment on the barriers too. I did go out to Burlington. I walked them. The ones they have, they are the orange and black plastic ones, and they're just full of water. From a safety perspective, and I spoke to staff about it, just my 2 cents. That's all it is. I thought in Lakeshore Road, as Councillor Ritchie is well aware of being on the fire department, there is a very busy roadway. And I agree. I thought the DIA, what you folks did last year to enhance the area, I thought it was good. But my main concern is safety. And a concrete barrier, it'll take a lot of impact to move that. Barriers, plastic barriers filled with water, I would definitely pick the concrete over the plastic. So anyways, just my 2 cents. I think with the DIA and with staff working together on this, I think we'll have a very we'll have a good solution to it. So anyways.
One thing I was asked last year was whether purposeful graffiti would be permitted on the barriers. If you could have like a contest or something where people could paint on the barriers to color them up, but you know, does the company want them left as pristine as possible? If we were able to get permission to have them painted, you know, we could do a competition where we close the road off for an afternoon and maybe have a draw, like some art kids from the high schools have a competition with the high schools or even the elementary schools, and let them paint both sides, and you know, have somebody from the art gallery judge it. Like, we could make it something pretty fun. It's the exact same cement barrier. There's no cost to it but some paint. But we would need permission from the company to do that, of course. But that could be pretty interesting if there's something you can inquire there with the company that owns the barriers, Harry.
Yeah, I think that's, again, that's something that would be in the hands of with staff working.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to second that, Mike.
Michael, sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
That's a great placemaking idea for the downtown. Yeah, painting or doing something with local artists on those barriers would probably be a great opportunity if you could swing it. Obviously, staff constraints and barriers, but you know, with the concrete. But I think that would be something that would help draw people downtown, and it would be good for the downtown area and placemaking. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting idea. Ellie.
I was just going to add that I like it too, but I was noticing, Harry, at the beginning there was a bit of head nodding. I'm wondering if there's hesitation to that proposed idea.
For you, Chair, no hesitation. Just, you know, we're dealing with a third party. We're renting these, so they want things back the way they provided, but we'll work with them. We'll try. We tried last year.
Maybe that would make them more valuable.
We'll try again.
Yeah. Okay. Councillor Ritchie.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I like the idea, but again, anytime you have something on the side of the road, And speed is, you know, luckily cars go by slowly there, and the concrete barriers obviously would help. A lot of times when you see something of visual interest, when you look, you tend to drive there. And that's, again, safety is a concern for me. I love the idea with drawing on it, maybe not on the road side, but maybe on just on the walkway side. That's where it could be done. But on the road side, I do have a little bit of concern in regards to safety because of what happens when people drive and see things. So, and not to say that it shouldn't, but maybe more research needs to go into looking into that idea.
Yeah, point well taken, Councillor. All righty, no more questions or comments? Just looking on the screen here. All righty, first of all, I want to thank everybody for getting up in the very early hours to attend our 8 o'clock meeting. And I hope, Richard, our time is all good for you for your next meeting. And yeah, okay. Just gonna, our next meeting of Gdac as a whole is scheduled for May the 19th at 8:30 in the morning. So yeah, anyways, again, thank you everybody for your participation. And again, welcome again to Donna joining our committee, and Rachel, good to see you too. So thanks again, everybody. I'll call the meeting closed then. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
I know.
It's not enough.